What is up, you guys? It's Allie, and I'm here with a Let's Dive In episode. This is episode 4, and today we're going to be talking about the DCEU. We've kind of heard reports that it's not supposed to be called the DC Extended Universe anymore, but we don't have a new name for it, so we're just going to keep calling it that. And I don't mind that name. I like that name. I know there was a name floated around potentially called Worlds of DC. That's cool too, but I really do like the DC Extended Universe because I think it kind of ties it together, which seems to be what they're trying to build as far as the movies go. So there was this video that was going around when Aquaman first came out, and it was made by the YouTuber Vito, and I actually do like his videos, and part of this video I agreed with, but a lot of it I really disagreed with, and the video was called What Killed the DCEU, and it had an image of Aquaman on the front, and at the beginning of his video he talks about how Aquaman seems like this weird movie that's just leading us to the death of the DCEU. And then he goes really in depth in talking about all the different movies, their results, and kind of how they were received and whatnot. And it's a good, well put together video. I just think the conclusion that he draws is inept. I don't think it actually applies anymore. And I personally think the DCEU is looking better than it ever has before. Not only has Aquaman become the best DC movie as far as gross ever made, but it's also the second most successful Warner Brothers movie ever. That's crazy. I don't think any of us anticipated Aquaman to do so well. So, while I understand there is apprehension with the whole DCEU situation because of the topsy-turviness with the movies that have come out before, I personally liked Batman vs. Superman and Man of Steel, but I know people didn't, and I know that the reception and the messaging has not always been the best for the DCEU, and so there has been mixed results, and there has been a lot of hate thrown towards the DCEU's way. So I understand that. It seems like the DCEU died after Justice League, but I think Aquaman gives it a pulse again. And with the way Shazam is trending, I think it gives it even more of a pulse. Wonder Woman obviously was an anomaly, and so we can't really look at Wonder Woman and be like, wow, she's in this universe and it really helped it. But it did. And so I think you have to take that into account when you look at the future for the DCEU. Wonder Woman is a part of that. It was kind of weird how Wonder Woman was in this consolidated film as far as her being in World War I, but they did tie it together. In the beginning, she has this letter that she's writing to Bruce that's talked about in the Justice League. So they're doing things to tie this universe together. So to act as if they're not is foolish in my mind. I don't know why I said foolish that way, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I personally think the DCEU is at a better spot than it's ever been before, and that's really exciting for me as a DC fan. I love DC properties. I love the DC characters, especially Batman and Wonder Woman. They're my favorite, and so I really, really want to see more from this universe, and I think what it has to offer to the comic book space is probably some of the best characters we've ever seen or written or ever heard of. Like the Joker, I'm just so excited for that. I know that that's something that probably won't be tied to the overall universe, but it's still a part of DC, a major part of DC, and I'm so happy that it's coming out at the end of this year in October. That it excites me. But the overall universe is Aquaman and Shazam, and we're seeing Shazam come out, and it looks so good from what we've seen so far. I'm very excited for that. It's got a light tone to it, and I enjoy that. It's going to break it up from some of the different things that we've seen before, and it makes sense because Shazam is a kid, and so I like that. But then we're also going to get the darkness side with the Joker, which I think is really cool, and a way to kind of just have a paradox between the two, because DC has been darker in its storytelling, especially with the Gotham storytelling, because Gotham is a dark place. Batman is a dark place. Think of a world that causes a grown man to dress up like a bat and go fight crime. That's a dark place. And if you read Batman comics, you would understand that, and I'm sure many of you have, and I'm sure many of you understand what I'm trying to say. But anyways, I would like to hear your guys' thoughts on the DCEU and the future of the DCEU. I think it's bright, and I'm excited for it. You guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll catch y'all next time. Bye!